The image of a cavalry charge is timeless. Think of brave soldiers, lances lowered, thundering across the battlefield. It's a powerful image, deeply embedded in our collective imagination. But World War I shattered this romantic ideal. The Great War, with its brutal trench lines and industrialized killing power, seemed to sound the death knell for mounted warfare. Horses and men, once the epitome of military might, now faced a terrifying new enemy: machine guns, artillery, and barbed wire. The reality was grim. Cavalry charges against entrenched positions often became suicidal. Yet cavalry did not disappear entirely from World War I. Instead, it adapted and evolved, proving its worth in unexpected ways. It's a story of resilience, of clinging to tradition while facing the future. The Western Front, a nightmarish landscape of trenches, mud and barbed wire, proved a disastrous environment for traditional cavalry charges. Machine guns, capable of unleashing a storm of bullets, could mow down entire squadrons before they even reached enemy lines. The static nature of trench warfare also negated the cavalry's speed and maneuverability, their greatest assets. One tragic example is the charge of the British 9th Lancers at Mons in 1914. Convinced they faced only retreating infantry, they charged into a hidden German position armed with machine guns. The result was catastrophic. Hundreds of men and horses were killed or wounded in a matter of minutes. This illustrated the brutal reality of modern warfare. Cavalry charges on the Western Front became increasingly rare. However, the cavalry's story did not end there. While traditional charges were often ineffective, cavalry units still played vital roles. They were used for reconnaissance, scouting enemy positions, and reporting back vital information. They also proved valuable for communication, carrying messages between units faster than runners or field telephones. While the Western Front exposed the limitations of traditional cavalry tactics, other theaters of war showcased their enduring value. On the vast, open plains of the Eastern Front, cavalry still held a significant advantage. Here, mobility and speed were key. Units like the Cossacks, renowned for their horsemanship and fighting spirit, wreaked havoc on supply lines and harassed enemy flanks. The Palestine Campaign offered another example of cavalry's success. In this desert warfare, the British used their mounted units to great effect. The Battle of Beersheba in 1917 saw a daring charge by the Australian light horse, who captured the town and its vital water supply. This victory proved instrumental in General Allenby's advance through Palestine. These successes highlighted an important point. Cavalry wasn't inherently obsolete, but rather misapplied on the Western Front. In the right terrain and against the right enemy, mounted units could still achieve decisive results. Adapting to survive from horse to tank. The experience of World War I forced cavalry units to adapt or perish. Recognizing the limitations of mounted charges, they embraced new tactics and technology. Dismounted fighting became increasingly common. Cavalrymen were trained to fight on foot, using their horses for transport rather than direct assault. This allowed them to maintain mobility while engaging in trench warfare. Furthermore, cavalry units were at the forefront of adopting new technologies. They were amongst the first to experiment with armored cars and, crucially, tanks. In a sense, tanks represented the evolution of cavalry, replacing horses with engines, but retaining the core principles of speed, maneuverability, and shock action. Many early tank units were in fact formed from cavalry regiments, their experience with mounted warfare proving invaluable in this new form of combat. Beyond the battlefield, the enduring legacy of cavalry. By the war's end, the days of the cavalry charge were over. Yet, the cavalry's legacy lived on. The lessons learned in both success and failure had a lasting impact on military thinking. The importance of mobility, rapid deployment, and flanking maneuvers, all hallmarks of cavalry warfare, remained as relevant as ever. Modern military doctrine still echoes these principles. The concept of maneuver warfare, which emphasizes speed, agility, and striking at the enemy's weak points, owes a significant debt to the cavalry tradition. Even in today's high-tech battlefields, dominated by drones and cyber warfare, the core principles of maneuver and surprise remain essential elements of military strategy. The story of cavalry in World War I is not simply one of obsolescence. It is a story of adaptation, innovation, and the enduring importance of timeless military principles in the face of a rapidly changing world. While the horses may be gone, the spirit of the cavalry charge, the drive to outmaneuver and outsmart the enemy, lives on.